Who remembers what we were talking about other weeks? Bible stories. Do you remember which one? Abraham. And what's the last thing that happened to Abraham? Well, two things happened to Abraham. First of all, God came and promised that his wife would have a son in a year's time. So now there's a time limit to this. And then Abraham negotiated with God for Sodom, but there weren't enough people, so we won't talk about that. So guess what? A year later, what God had promised happened. And Sarah had a son. And because she laughed at God when he promised that she would have a son, even though she was very, very old, she named him Laughter, which is Isaac. That's why he's named Isaac, because she laughed when God promised that she would have a baby. Okay? Now, they had waited for almost 100 years to have a baby, because Abraham was almost 100 years old. You know that? And Sarah was 90. And they have the baby, and then he starts to grow up. And what does God say then? He says, Abraham, take your son, whom you love, bring wood, and go to the place I will show you, and sacrifice your son on the mountain. You know what sacrifice means? It means he's going to tie his son, arms and legs, over the altar. He's going to take the knife, and he's going to cut his throat like a goat. This is what Abraham has in his mind. So what does he do? What do you think? Does he say, "Nuh-uh, not doing that"? He does it. He kills Isaac? Right. So you know the story. Good. So he takes a donkey with the wood on it, and he takes his son, and they go on the trip. Sort of road trip. Takes some days to travel. And as they go, as they get near to the place, they see the mountain. And Isaac says, "Daddy, I see the wood, I see the knife, we have everything, but where's the sacrifice? Where's the lamb?" And Abraham says, "God will provide a lamb, my son." And they leave the servants behind, and then the two of them alone, they go up the mountain. And they get there, and Abraham does what he said. He does what God told him. He takes his little boy, he puts him on the altar, he ties him up. He gets ready to do what God said. Can you imagine? You're tied up, you're looking at your dad, he has a knife, and Abraham gets ready to do the worst thing. And then an angel, he comes and says, "Abraham, stop. Look over there." And he looks, and in the bushes, the thorn bushes, he sees a ram, a big goat with big horns that he's caught. And he says, "Oh, thank God, I was right. God did provide a sacrifice." So he unties his son, and they catch the goat, and they sacrifice it, and they send up the smoke of the burning offering. And they go. But God says, "See now, Abraham, now I know you believe the words that I have said. I know that you trust me so much that even you would not spare your son. So now go and see him grow up in joy," and so forth. Right? Now, There's a promise that isn't spoken. And this is important. This isn't in the text yet. God provides the sacrifice, but he's telling Abraham something. He says the cost of unity, of reconciliation, of peace between me and you, between God and humankind. The cost of this is the sacrifice of the beloved Son. And he looks at Abraham and he says, I see you would have given your son, but you trusted me to take care of it instead. And so I will. Who is the son that God provides for a sacrifice? Everybody should put their hand up. You know this. Αυτός, ο Χριστός. Jesus is the Son, the beloved Son of God, who is the good sacrifice, who brings us back together with God. This is one of the most important Bible stories in the whole Bible, because it shows us how much God loves us and how much He gives for us. And He shows us by letting Abraham feel the pain, the horror of the death of his son. He doesn't make him do it. He saves him. But he lets him see in a vision, in a mirror, as it were, what's going to happen at the end. So, this is why Jesus comes. He is the beloved Son of God who brings us back together with God who made us. And with that in mind, let's stand up and take communion.